longer than I've been, and I've just learned from them. I mean, I think every podcaster will say that. They've learned from other podcasters that they just happen to listen to, and they've just taken that advice and then they've applied it and molded and shaped it to what works for them. So when I did this podcast and knowing my life circumstances and everything, I'm like, this is the way I'm gonna handle it. This is the way I'm going to show it off. This is the way I'm going to distribute it, because this is what works for me. This is what allows me to actually do it, actually get it out in a timely manner on a consistent enough basis that I don't feel like I'm betraying the trust of my viewership, where I say, okay, I'm going to get it out on a Monday by noon and it's Wednesday at night and the show goes out. Is you have to set goals, but you have to make them realistic. And that's always a learning experience in the beginning. You're always gonna miss. You're always gonna have that one late episode you're gonna kill yourself over. But I really think that's what it comes down to. It's like, really make sure what is your priority, what do you really want to show off, and then make it as easy as possible to get it done consistently. And the rest should be gravy.
Back in the day, I had, like, when it was just me, and I tried to do everything. This was before they did any live streaming, like with the virtual ticket, and I would sit there and stand there and record every panel that I could. So I had like no free time to do anything. And that was probably my first couple BlizzCons that I did, and I learned very quickly that if I want to enjoy the show, I can't do that. So I hire other people to go do that.
A couple years ago, I kind of just, I have very control freak tendencies. Anyone who's ever worked with me will probably tell you that. And a couple years ago, I kind of just beat it into my own brain to let go, because the funny thing about going to BlizzCon for the first time is that it is infinitely easier to consume the information coming out of BlizzCon from home than it is from the con floor, because there's so many panels happening simultaneously. You can't be at all panels at the same time, while also Lord help you if you're also into esports. Because it's all happening simultaneously, and it's not a bad thing. They can only do so much. This can't be a 7-day event as much as I would like it to be, although, like, I would be exhausted. That's a lot of partying. But you have to let go. And so, what I think you should focus on, if you're creating any kind of content, is what you can control and what you can make unique. If you're a creator of any sort, we're all so good at making things overcomplicated for ourselves. So really, I just come back to, like, what is my voice? There are group interviews for a reason. There are public panels for a reason. Those questions are going to get answered. What do I want to know? What does my audience want to know that is probably not being addressed somewhere else? And so I put the effort into the interviews that I can get and the questions that I can ask, get those questions answered. And beyond that, I attend what panels I can make it to, and I go to what esports events I can make it to, and I catch up after the fact. Honestly, every BlizzCon evening, I'm on fan sites like Wowhead catching up because it's just impossible. And thank God there are people who are better at that than me, and that's the reason they're out there. Use them and cite your sources, for crying out loud. Let everyone know where you're getting that information from. And
Perculia might be able to. I might have said that name wrong. I'm sorry. But you might be able to address this too. The easiest way to cover BlizzCon is actually not from being at BlizzCon. It's having people at home that are watching the virtual ticket and being able to pick up stuff from there. That's usually the way we go. We actually have a team that we call Team No Pants because they're experiencing BlizzCon from home with no pants on.
So I'm in a bit of an interesting situation because I run Wowhead and we live blog and live tweet all the panels. So what I'm about to say might seem weird, but we do really value quality over quantity, even though it seems like we're doing lots of the quantity. And we try to keep hiring more people every year. We try to find people that are passionate about BlizzCon, that want to share what they're passionate about on Wowhead. So we try to delegate things so someone can live blog, but then they also might want to, really see one panel in person, so we let them take a break and go do that. Or I want to see the Pepe gathering, so I won't be live blogging, Saturday morning. So we it's work, but we try to capture the magic as to, why BlizzCon is special and it's not just another work convention. And yeah, it's weird. Most of our team is at BlizzCon this year. It's really funny. We attend every year as a team, and it's great team building. And one time, right before BlizzCon, we had a big staff dinner, and on the way home, as we were paying the bill, the PTR hit. So we whipped out our laptops in the car, and we started posting the news in the car.
Sorry.
So we have some people that do stay at home that help with the live blogging, but it's actually convenient to have 4 or 5 people in the same hotel room just yelling commands at each other like, oh, the cinematics up, make a separate post. Oh, the Discord webhook, oh, the site's dying, yell at the dev to bring it back up. So, I don't know, you need to have a strong team that you can rely on and trust, and also just still try to have fun. And if something's too overwhelming, don't cover it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I wish I was on Team No Pants. But here I am. I don't know. I think if you're a Blizz podcaster, any work that you're doing at BlizzCon is not work, because you're passionate about it. And it also helps when you're, interviewing and trying to work with people who have become your friends. So make friends.
My recommendation would be get all your work done, then go to BlizzCon. that's what I'll be doing.
What is it like, from the inside out, Terran? As someone who has to, work, you have to make panel appearances and whatnot. How do you find the time to go actually in and enjoy the con?
I will do kind of what you were saying, like get it off the beaten path, right? Some of the more interesting cons that look like they're going to not be information that'll be a nice bullet point list that I can kind of pick up later or absorb very quickly. But being able to see the people you want to see or opportunity to meet anyone that you want to meet. But honestly, I do end up spending most of my time in the social spaces and not in the con spaces, just because to me that's the fleeting moment. Like you're thinking about cameras, right? The fleeting moment is being here in this space with these people at this time, and that moment's going to be very, very finite. It does not last long. We all traveled. Some of us traveled a lot farther than others to get here, but we're all here to just spend a single moment in time together, and that's what I try to take advantage of the most.
I'm like crying here because the first BlizzCon, it was like me and one other person, and it was like very stressful. And I'm just really proud of my Wowhead team. If anyone's in the room, I think they're actually working in the other room. But yeah, I'm really proud of the team we've built and how people are able to have fun at the con instead of just working nonstop.
And of course, a huge shout out to the Wowhead team for helping sponsor this entire event of Calm Before the Storm. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, please. It's bigger and better than any other year. So you run a fantastic site, and we all love you. So.
Aw, thank you.
Are there any other questions? 3, 2, up front. 1, 2. All right.
I just wanted to know, what's your favorite in-game moment? Be it a cinematic, PvP win, etc., etc.
Like a personal moment or observing other people? Either way? Answer's choice. Okay.
All the cinematics. And wow, they're real great.
Cop out. I'm not going first on this one.
Terran's already talking to you. You don't need to be super nice.
He's sitting right next to me. If it makes me cry.
Oh, he could, yeah. Okay.
It's tough. All the cinematics great. But if I had to pick one, I would say when Malthel was revealed for Reaper of Souls, and you got to see him, and just that slight head tilt of him acknowledging of what was in front of him, and then just proceeds to kill everybody. That was a great cinematic. Just the way, the darkness, the tone, the music, everything hit so perfectly. I think I like that cinematic probably a lot.
My answer is probably similar to a lot of people's who have ever played Diablo, just for the fact that playing that on a computer and going into the butcher and that whole sequence right there and how scary it was.
Fresh meat.
That's still like I still have nightmares about that to this day. So that's got to be it.
Nightmare Fuel is powerful.
Yeah.
For me, God, it's like a tie between downing the Lich King and downing Sindragosa. Because Sindragosa we downed with like the final shot from our mage, which was the last member of the raid that was alive, and then the mage died as Sindragosa died. So we downed Sindragosa for the first time with an entirely dead raid. But Arthas for me was just a big one because Warcraft 3 was really my jumping on point. I'd played Diablo 2 at friends' houses, but I didn't have a computer that could run it at the time. So I got into Warcraft 3, and I wasn't a big RTS kid, but the kids at my school would just not stop talking about it. I'm like, all right. I mean, it's not Ocarina of Time, but I'll give it a shot. And I didn't know you could tell a story like that in an RTS. I was just blown away. I was like, oh yeah, blonde-haired prince is the good guy. Oh my God, he just stabbed his father. Like just blew my mind. I'm like, oh, this is like a better Darth Vader story, and I'm all about that. I will watch that fall in any medium, and I'm happy with it. And so when I heard WoW was coming out, I started playing it just to see the conclusion of Arthas' story. I just didn't realize I was gonna have to wait like 5 years. And so when I got there, it's the closest I have ever felt to beating World of Warcraft. That said, I am now many years into the longest epilogue ever.
I think my proudest guild moment was downing Yogg Zero right before a wave of nerfs to it. My guild was trying to really improve in early Wrath. Like we didn't get Immortal 25, and we're like, okay, we're gonna like do all the achievements. We're gonna get a better rank. And I was really proud of that. And I was playing Rogue at the time, and there was a strategy where you could expose Armor of the Brain, and then you could. That was like better than Warriors at the time. Then you could Fan of Knives to do the mass interrupts. So I had this really fun job of like doing very important things on the fight. And it just was so creepy, and the visions and the brain, the throwbacks, they were so cool as well. But news-wise, I think seeing the Gamescom cinematic when like Illidan's coming back and Gul'dan found him in the tomb and they introduced Demon Hunters, that was really hype.
Aside from the cinematics, I don't know. Honestly, my favorite in-game moments are Wednesdays and Thursdays when I get to raid with my team. And we're all adults, and we're all over the country, and we're all busy, and sometimes IRL boss takes us away, and you know we always come back eventually, because you always come back to World of Warcraft. You can't. But it brings us together every single week, and it ensures that I probably get 6 hours with my favorite people, you know, even in just voice, but like I get to see them at BlizzCon, and they're here, and it's great, but I don't get to see them otherwise. And WoW has the power to give you a social life when you don't really have one, or when you don't really choose to have one IRL. And I wouldn't get to talk to all my friends at the same time every week without WoW. So, I mean, I guess that's a kind of a dorky answer, but it's true.
It's true. I'm going to go way off the beaten path and take an entirely different clip to this one. In my early career at Blizzard, I worked in the video department. And the video department often would provide the gameplay recordings that would be projected on screens in any television show that wanted to feature any of our games. So if you saw someone, say, in The Big Bang Theory, and there was World of Warcraft on the screen, that was probably me and my team making that footage and giving it to them to be projected onto that screen. And with the new Zombieland movie coming out, the original Zombieland had a shot coming up behind the character as he was playing World of Warcraft on that screen. That was me playing that, and I need to tell you about the moment that I was playing, because it needed to be a PvP moment. They wanted it to feel really like, oh, he's doing some wicked PvP. Okay, so I created a rogue on a PTR server, and I joined Warsong Gulch, and I grabbed the flag as a rogue, ran back, and I was turtling in the base, and 5 horde with the flag come after me, and I'm by myself up on top, and I'm recording all of this, like frapsing it, and I'm up above, and I'm like, oh God, they're coming for me, and I just say, screw it, and I jump down, and I start executing the flag carrier. I kill him, pick up the flag, and start sprinting, and I have 1% health, and I hit Cloak of Shadows just as a flame shot goes right over my shoulder, and I capture the flag. Boom, I got an achievement. And I was like, oh man, that actually just happened. I was recording that. Oh, and then it ended up in Zombieland, so cool. My proudest moment. From a gameplay, not a cinematic perspective.
Boy, I'm glad you went last.
Yeah. All right, we have time for one more question.
No pressure.
Oh, sorry, which guy right behind me was not anymore? Okay, sir.
So, Perculia, I was wondering if you have any interesting stories or experiences about
Having a
integrating-
difficult time hearing you. Could you
Sorry,
closer?
Perculia, I was wondering if you have any interesting stories or experiences about integrating Classic into Wowhead, and also how do you all feel about Classic so far?
You were asking about Classic specifically? Okay. Yeah, it's been a really interesting development on Wowhead because Wowhead didn't really exist in vanilla. And then it was very much like a talent calc at the tail end of vanilla, and then it came into its own in Burning Crusade. But it really made sense for us to go back to do Classic for Wowhead because, you know, like, people don't read quest text. You need to go to Wowhead to learn where things are. So we really just sort of dove into that completely and went all out on it, even when people were doubting us, like, oh, is this really going to take off? Like, why do you keep letting us know you're adding stuff to the site? And everyone has really enjoyed it, so that's been a lot of fun. Besides developing Wowhead, I was super excited to experience all the Night Elf lands. Before Deathwing, before Sylvanas, running around Old Teldrassil, yes. Like Darkshore, Aberdeen, and it's, yeah, I remember I was at a press event in May and we had pre-made characters who could just fly all around the world. And I was emotionally exhausted after because I'm like, oh, these zones I haven't seen for like a decade, they're here, and I'm, flying all around. I'm seeing Ashenvale without like the lava and Ragnaros. I'm seeing Darkshore. I'm seeing Winterspring. Feralus isn't flooded, and I just I just recorded myself flying all around the zones for the day, and I'm like, oh, I have 6 hours of footage of just me, seeing these zones, and I actually sometimes replay it. Sometimes it just was so pristine and pretty. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark, very much. There's a quick question, so we can have another question.
So this is aimed at the community folks here. At what point did it go from just being fun to being a job for you?
Oh my. Well,
For me, it's not a job still. It's still fun. So it's I mean, I wouldn't, the thing is, I don't make enough money to do this, to make it a job anyway. So I would have to do it to be for fun. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I might be kind of crazy, but I don't know. Am I crazy?
no, you're doing it right.
Okay, I'm doing okay.
No, you're
okay,
doing
we're
it right.
good. We're good.
I mean, this doesn't make you crazy. You may be,
Okay. Anyway, but no, I do it because it's fun. I do it because I enjoy interacting with other people online about this stuff. I do it because of all the people that I've met that help me out, and we've become a group of friends doing this. In fact, one of them's right here, who helps me a lot too. So, yeah.
I hope
So
someone got a
it's-
picture of that.
So it's not a job to me. It's fun.
I mean, I would just echo that. My goal, my priority when I started podcasting, doing a website for Diablo, I came in when Diablo 3 was announced in the Friends and Family Alpha. It was because none of the friends I had at the time who were playing World of Warcraft were going to switch over to Diablo 3. So even though I had a group of gaming friends, I was going to lose them when I came to Diablo 3. So my priority wasn't to be buddy with Blizzard people. It wasn't to get a beta code. It was any of that. It was literally just a call to myself to make a website that I could eventually, hopefully, maybe find other like-minded individuals that just rally behind this game. And 7, almost 8 years later, I can't tell you how many people I've met at Blizzard, past and present. I can't tell you how many people I've met online inside the Diablo 3 community and outside. I mean, some of my closest friends through Blizzard aren't in Diablo, but I still keep in contact because we played WoW together. We met after the fact. So I mean, that's been my primary objective with this whole thing. It's just meet more people, and not for even network, just like friends. That's how JR said, because you never know what the next friendship is going to bring. You never know what's going to happen in the next day or the next podcast you do, how that could open up opportunities. And in some ways, that's almost better than getting paid for it, in a sense. And that keeps you going, I think, better than any monetary gain can incentivize you. It's nice, don't get me wrong, it's nice. But knowing that there could be another friendship, another 10-year plus gaming buddy you can meet is worth its weight in gold.
I have a slightly different outlook on it, I guess, than you, JR. I mean, it's fun. It's always been fun. But like for me, even before it became my job.
You're in a little bit different.
Well, and it's not just this. Like I juggle a lot of different things. I do graphic design on the side, videography, like multiple different things that allowed me to like take the plunge and be like call like my boss at the time and be like, I quit. It was lovely at the time, but it's a lot of work. But like all the way back to like the first podcast I did when my co-host Kyle and I decided we were going to go start a StarCraft podcast because we were lucky enough to get in the beta, and we'd been wanting to do a podcast together for a while but couldn't decide on a topic. When the beta fell in our lap, it's like, oh, we should do this, but we should do it right. And it was a part-time job that cost money instead of made money, but we treated it like a job. We sat down and we had a meeting and we decided that every week at a certain day at a certain time we were going to get together, we were going to record that show, come hell or high water, no matter what was going on, and we were going to put it out so that at the very least we're new, no one knows who we are, no one has any reason to care, but at least they're going to know that next week there's going to be another episode. And if you liked what you hear, there's going to be more, and we're going to continue to improve it. So in a way, like it has never stopped being fun, but for us, and the folks I've been working with since the very beginning, we all treated it like a job even before we broke even on server costs.
So I started volunteering at Wowhead in the Firelands patch, I think, and then became like a paid volunteer and then part-time and eventually full-time sometime in Miss Pandaria. But yeah, even before that, I was always writing guides on like random sites like LiveJournal, WoW Ladies, like, today I worked on the Insane. This is how I grind things out quickly. I have top achievements on the server. The timing was just really right, and I just found myself doing more and more. Like when the transmog patch came out, we made transmog sets on Wowhead, and I really like fashion and finding things that match, and just sort of knew all that stuff off the top of my head, even though I didn't have much technical knowledge. So I just was like, yeah, give me all this work. The job is still fun, but I'm very happy I have health insurance. So yeah, it is what it is. And I've been doing this a long time, and the site can be very large, and there could be, concerns about burnout, but, I try to delegate. So if something isn't fun or it's not my expertise, I try to find the right person for that job. And yeah, like I said before, a lot of us fly out, hang out together around the world. I've met so many people that I would not have met and was, not on track to meet in my past job and education prior to working at Wowhead and meeting people at Blizzard.
All right, unfortunately, I'm sorry we are out of time. So thanks to all of our wonderful panelists for the opening BlizzCon panel. Thank you, everybody, for asking those fantastic questions. And next up, we will have our Hearthstone panel. So make sure you stick around for that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.